indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's their turn for a while, right?
All right, at this time, we're going to public hearing. Just got a few protocols for applicants and speakers during public hearing. The applicant will be given 30 minutes to present their application. The applicant will be advised when they have 5 minutes and 2 minutes left. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the planning commission. The time will be strictly enforced. Each speaker will be advised when 2 minutes have elapsed. Each speaker will be advised when 3 minutes have elapsed. Each speaker will be permitted to address the planning commission only once. 3-minute opportunity to speak cannot be transferred from one speaker to another. Speakers should face the planning commission and address their comments to the planning commission and not to others who are present at the meeting. Speakers should not turn to face and address members of the audience. The planning commission is conducting the public hearing to receive comments from interested parties. Neither the planning commission nor its staff will respond to questions during public hearings, and neither the planning commission or its staff will engage in a dialogue with the speaker. Planning Commission asks that everyone at the meeting be respectful to others who are present and asks to those present not to applaud speakers. As a reminder, it is inappropriate at public meeting to make personal attacks or defamatory or derogative individuals. Profanity will not be tolerated. Prior to beginning your comments, please state your name and address for the record. Once again, there's a sign-up sheet for speakers. If you're not signed up yet and wish to speak, please let the county staff know. Your name will be added for the speaker. All right, moving on to item number 1. The Mecklenburg County Zoning Office has received applicant by William and Edward Coleman Jr. to rezone from residential R1 to business B1. This property is identified county tax number 109-000A-154, zoned as residential R1, located on the north side of Highway 58 at its intersection with Highway 766 Tucker Lane, Election District 2, County of Mecklenburg. The applicant here to speak.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Warren, members of the board, my brother and I are requesting this be rezoned, the two adjoining tracts. Ironically, one has a house on it, and that is zoned agriculture. The second tract doesn't have any dwellings on it at this time, and that's zoned residential. The residential tract did have a ongoing funeral home that was torn down when 58 was constructed to add the other 2 lanes. Across Tucker Lane was another funeral home that has been converted to a duplex. Directly across the road is the old Park Motor Company or Kenley Ford, which is business. And the next parcel up 58 going west is also business. We don't have any specific plans at this time. We just would like to position ourselves in case something comes along to have this rezoned for business. And it is the first track going west on 58 after you leave the restricted area of the bypass. So we feel like it's got some potential there. And again, a lot of the adjoining property is already business, and we respectfully request that these 2 parcels be rezoned as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. See if I get any questions. Is anyone here to speak for this application? Is anyone here to speak against? Hearing none, y'all got any discussion or?
What's the size of this? That's lot number 4052.
both 5+ acres, total between 10 and 11 acres.
But you're on the backside, it's all backed up with homes. That
I wouldn't anticipate that ever being, but we want to need to rezone those tracks. That you're correct.
the one adjoining to it with the house on it, it's currently, zoned how?
Agriculture.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, since it's located right on the front there, I can see why he would want it, business. So I make a motion, to approve the application for the following reasons. The rezoning would allow for more commercial business in the area. It will not be detrimental to the public welfare. It will not affect adversely the health or safety of persons of the neighborhood for the proposed use. The developer will have to meet VDOT standards for a commercial business.
I second that motion.
David. All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The next item on our list is Mecklenburg County's received application by Boynton LLC to rezone from agricultural to business B1. This property is identified county tax map number 109-000A-131, zoned as agriculture, is located on the north side of Highway 766 Tucker Lane and its intersection with Highway 58, Election District 2. Would you like to speak on that too?
We make the
Thank-
same request on that. In fact, first track, we were landlocked. And we were fortunate enough, we didn't realize at the time, but there was a guardrail. And we talked to VDOT and they were gonna make some adjustments. But in the meantime, we were able to acquire the second track to give us some road frontage on Tucker Lane. But they are adjoining properties.
While you're up there, Gene, on that, that's the one that has a house on it.
Okay, well, I've got, yeah, okay, that's agriculture. That's the one that's got the house. That, we acquired that second so we could have better
Is
access.
someone living in the house?
No, sir, it's abandoned. It's in terrible shape.
Is it livable?
No, sir. Not by my
You
standards.
intend to, what, tear that down, right?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
All right, is anyone to speak for this application? Anyone to speak against?
Mr. Chairman, that's in my district, so I'll make a motion to approve based on the following reasons. The rezoning will allow for more commercial business in the area, will not be detrimental to the public welfare, will not affect adversely the health and safety of persons or the neighborhood for the proposed use. The developer will have to meet VDOT standard for the commercial entrance.
Second that.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 for tonight, Mecklenburg County zoning office received an applicant by Jamara Coleman for a special exemption permit to allow for a vehicle salvage yard. This property identified as county tax number 143-000-08-003. Zone agriculture and is located on the south side of Highway 738 White House Road and approximately 1 mile west of its intersection with Highway 735 Height Drive, Election District 9, Mecklenburg County. Is the applicant here to speak and come forward? All right, just give us about it, what you're gonna do, or what you like to do.
I mean, I want to do it.
Huh?
I want to go forward.
All right, but just
What do I
explain to
want
us
to
what
do
you,
with the
yeah, explain to
property?
us what you're trying to do.
Well, it's not really a salvage yard. He called it a salvage yard, but it's not really a salvage yard.
All right, so what you doing?
Just pick up old junk cars and haul them off for mechanic work.
Okay.
Let me get pictures. He's trying to get a salvage yard. You say you don't call it a salvage yard?
I mean, not all the cars. Some of the cars, when I pick them up, just go straight onto the junkyard. But I do mechanic work over there as well.
I guess, Robert, is this considered if he's storing vehicles or, I mean, how,
If he's storing vehicles over there, and he's bringing in junk, picking up junk, store it there, and then hauling off later to salvage yard.
it's still us?
Does it work on anything?
Yeah.
We have a picture here, a picture of it. Oh, let me see, it's 25,558. No. 26,812. According to this picture, I mean, you see a road going in there. Does it have a road going into the property?
It's a driveway there. It's open.
This is driveway there.
A driveway?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the picture, it doesn't.
So Robert, would it have to be a fence put around, I'm just looking at the picture and where it looked like an old rescue squad truck or something there. Will it, in the woods, would a fence be put all the way around this?
It has to be screened from the public view. That's one of the conditions if it gets approved.
Right. So are these vehicles, what's the longest some of them stay there? I mean, you bring them in, you fix them, and they go, but if some of them you just bring there and leave there to use parts and stuff off
No,
eventually?
if the ones that I just pull the parts off them and then send them on to the crusher.
So they don't, how long, what's the longest one to stay there?
Maybe 2 days or so, if that long.
So most of these vehicles that's in this picture here, the old van or whatever, they won't last for but a couple of days, is that?
I don't know what pictures you have. I do got a Blazer of my own that sits over there. A couple of my trucks. It'll be a two dualies, a Denali. That sits over there. That's mine.
Right, okay.
I rode past the area the other day. There was a Jeep out front that looked like it had been there a while. Is it?
Red.
I didn't notice the color. It's right out front.
I don't have a. Oh, it's an old Army Jeep there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And it's been there for a while?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're not, that particular,
No, I wasn't gonna crush it. It's a old M151 military Jeep.
One of the pictures shows a fence. You have some kind of, like a 6-foot fence out there? I'm just looking at this picture here.
There's no fence there at all.
It's a dog kennel maybe, a dog kennel or something.
Not
Dog pen.
a dog pen, oh, okay.
do you have dogs in the pen and do they stay on the property?
Yeah. One.
One dog?
Yes.
On the property night and day? Does it stay around the clock?
Yeah.
The dog stays around the clock?
Yes.
Is he your guard dog for the property?
No, it's a pet.
Keep him in a pen, he wants to guard dog.
Well, he can bark though, that's what I was saying.
That's mine.
You got any more questions? All right, thank you. If that's all you got.
Okay.
Does anyone here to speak for this application? Come up, speak, state your name and address, please.
My name is Freddie M. Cherry, and I live adjacent from 4122 White House Road, Nelson, Virginia, 24580. I live adjoining or adjacent, I don't know which, because only thing separating us is White House Road, so I guess we might be adjoining property. I don't know. But anyhow, this man been a nuisance over there ever since he's been over there. He started by burning tires, those piles of trash. He haven't even finished cleaning the area off for any type of operation. And I don't know exactly what he's doing and what he wants to do as of now. And he was burning something, in fact, last night. And that residue, and that deposit is settled on our cars and all of that. And I've been trying to reason with him ever since he's been over there about don't be a nuisance to the community. We got residents there that's work, in North Carolina, and they maybe leave home at 5:30, 4:30, and they trying to get a good night's sleep, but he don't have no operating hours. He might show that at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And, it's just a makeshift operation. That's all it is. And it's been almost 2 years, and I don't see no improvement at all. No improvement at all. He just, he think he was a frequenting operation. He don't curse me out more than one time when I'm just trying to reason with it. That's all I'm trying to do. Just reason with it. But I can't get no kind of results from it. No kind of, cooperation from it. Because he came in with an attitude, and he still had that attitude. I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So I adamantly disapprove rezoning that property for a commercial use. It should stay agriculture like it was before he even came over there. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Does anyone else here would like to speak?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak regarding the zoning exception for,
Is that your name, please?
yes, my name is Paula Jamadio. I live on 396 Overby Road, which is around the corner from this property. My parents, my children, and I live on a 126-acre farm down the road from the property in question. We grow hay and raise horses. I have serious concerns regarding Mr. Coleman's business, specifically issues regarding stormwater runoff from his property to our property and the storage of hazardous liquids associated with automobile salvage yards. If you look at a topographical map of the area, you will see the connection of where water coming off of his property will flow down to our property. This all affects my livestock as they drink out of the two ponds on our property and are fed through the water flowing through the farms directly adjacent to the adjoining property of Mr. Coleman's. And it also affects our drinking water as the hazardous materials associated with the automobile salvage into the groundwater. Per Virginia Administrative Code 9 VAC 25-151-200, Section M, regarding stormwater controls, Mr. Coleman is required to do the following: have soil and leak prevention procedures, inspect all vehicles and oily parts for leaks quarterly, training in proper handling, collection, and disposal of oil, used material, spirits, antifreeze, mercury switches, and solvents, manage runoff to include berms for drainage ditches, berms for uncovered outdoor storage of oily parts and engine blocks, above-ground liquid storage, installation of detention ponds, filtration devices or oil water separators, and another control measure to prevent or reduce the discharge of pollutants to surface waters. Automobile salvage yards are required to monitor their stormwater discharge for pollutants of concern listed in Table 200 of the Administrative Code. I do not have confidence that Mr. Coleman will follow these requirements, as he already cleared the land and started his salvage business without doing even the bare minimum of checking the current zoning of the property before he started his business. Whatever Mr. Coleman's intent, it is clear he did not and has not considered the impact of his business on the surrounding neighbors. It is my opinion that there are other locations Mr. Coleman can run his salvage business that would comply with current zoning and provide the needed protections without having to jeopardize the livelihood and the living conditions of his fellow neighbors. For that reason, I cannot support Mr. Coleman's request for special exemption. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lois Marshall. I live in Nelson, Virginia, on Overby Road, around the corner from White House. And Mr. Coleman was incorrect. That Jeep has been there the entire time. It was moved last night for the very first time by a Bobcat they brought in and just leveled some land, and the oil and everything that's coming up from the land. I'm very, very concerned. We are all on well water. There are at least 11 houses within that area. And as the gentleman said up here, they come in at all hours of the night. I've seen them working at night when they come home at 9 o'clock or something like that. And and there's a dog there. You have a new ordinance for dogs. They're not allowed to be there all night, outside, unattended by anybody. There's nobody there. And the dog will spend tonight in the pouring rain. Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak against this application? Anyone to speak for this application? Do y'all have any more questions?
There's 2 more letters against, right?
Yes, it's several.
Actually, there's 3.
One spoke, one is.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can we ask the applicant more questions?
Sure.
Okay. Would you come back up so we can
The
ask?
applicant come back up, Mr. Coleman. Just got a few questions for you.
I'm concerned with how long you've been doing this. It sounds like you've been doing this for a while.
Yes.
And have you made any attempts to get applications to do any of this work or talk to anybody about erosion control and the dumping of hazardous liquids?
No, but I will. I mean, I ain't really dumped nothing.
All right, how about the burning? What do you burn? Some of the people said you burned some stuff. Were you burning tires or what?
It was, when I first got over there, it was some old tires. I mean, that old guy right there, like he threw trash and shit in the road, but it was some tires in the pile, which the state fire marshal come out. He tried to say it was burning something last night. It was a brush pile burning last night. No tires or nothing in it. I mean, the firepower could be checked. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to the state fire marshal. He come out, and which I talked to Robert a few times, but, you know, ain't nothing else been going on. What he's saying is going on.
Mr. Coleman,
Do you have normal operating hours?
I mean, when I first got the place, I mean, I ride in there. I go over there any time of the night, you know, just to check stuff. You know,
With no scheduled hours?
no. No. I mean, I'm not the only one that's on that road to ride through there either, you know.
Robert, if it was, approved this application, the only thing we'll have to do is put a fence around it and everything else the same. I mean, the pictures I'm looking at, I tell you, it looks like it just looks like a mess.
He's got conditions that he's gotta meet with EPA, ENS, fencing, DMV.
Is it possible that some of this could be done before we issued a permit or some, straighten this thing up, clean it up a little bit or something before?
I mean, whatever I got to do, I'll do it. That's fine.
I mean, y'all can defer until he meets the requirements on some of these conditions. If he meets those requirements, then he can present it back to me, and then I can present it to you all.
A letter from VDOT2 talks about the entrance, how it can be difficult.
That's one of the conditions.
Yeah, that's item 3 in the condition. It has to be screened. One of the conditions has to be screened. How do you propose to screen it so people can't see it? Like he called it a mess.
I mean, if I
And
got to
from
put
the
up a fence,
pictures
you know, I
I
will.
got,
That's
yeah,
fine.
he was right. Sir,
If I got to put up a fence, I mean, I will. That's fine. That's not a big deal.
what kind of fence you gonna put up to screen it?
Conditions. Privacy fence.
Oh, yeah, privacy fence.
City condition.
Oh, so it will be screened completely. Thank you. I didn't see that word. Through the erosion settlement control. Robert, what kind of, steps would he have to take to prevent any soil and water contamination, which,
He'd have to get an engineer to come out, look at the lay of the land, and determine what needs to be done to protect
yeah,
it.
all 3 of the letters, yeah, mention that, and so have, a couple of the people who spoke. We could defer it, but then he'd be in an obligation to meet 7 things, and it would cost, all of these things would cost to meet those qualifications. It's up to the people in the commission. I don't think Mr. Coleman would want to, putting up screen and all these other items that we have that will cost to get it approved and then, and not get approved. Whose district is this?
It is in my district. I make a recommendation to deny this based on the concern that I have that none of these requirements have been attempted to be met and to maintain an orderly business up to this point. And I think it's been going on for a while. So based on that, I make a motion to deny.
Second.
Mr. Louser?
Did you second?
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second.
All right, motion made to deny the application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Robert, can he go through and do some of these things and reapply later on?
12 months.
12 months. I mean,
But I mean, it's still up to the board. It's still gotta go to the board of supervisors.
right. I mean. All right, next item. Mecklenburg County Zoning Office received an applicant by Roy Simmons for a special exemption permit to conduct firearm safety class. This property is identified as County Map 050000A-53, Zone Agricultural. It's located on the east side of Highway 688 Skipworth Road, approximately 1 mile south of its intersection with 831 Butler Farm Road, Election District 2. Is the applicant here to speak?
Good evening, thank you for your time. We have about 40 acres, and I've been trained by various organizations on how to prepare a range. So we selected this area based on the noise emitter zone is away from all the neighbors. I've actually taken readings on the property boundaries. It's below background. The direction of the range is towards literally over 500 yards to the back of the range, and we have a 30-foot berm by natural slope. So it's a very safe condition as well. Neighbors, I do personal shooting out there because it's something I do just personal without training. And the neighbors not only don't complain, they like it. They some come over and just and visit. So it's a very safe area. It's a very quiet area. It doesn't disturb the public. And it's going to be a private range. It will not be public. There'll be very few classes, very few people. It's just to offer some safety training for folks that have the need. And I am certified by the NRA. I'm certified by USCCA. I'm certified by SIG. I'm certified by Rangemaster. So I have some good quals for this. I can take any questions you have.
Did I see in the application you're using only handguns?
That is correct.
38 and
Typically, we'll shoot 9s, 45s, or 40s. It's really self-defense type training. So rifles, much noisier, much longer range. So you have to really give much more consideration to do that kind of training. Pistols, very short distances, everything's contained. I got clay contained right there, projectiles, so it's pretty unobtrusive.
what is the length of carry on a 45?
Length of carry in a 45 would probably be out to about 900 yards if you shot it up in the air.
Well, looking at the pictures here, it looked like the way you have your target set up in the background, the bullets will be hitting into that hill.
And that's what we wanted to do, is hit into that hill.
Right.
Yes, that is, it's a really nice area because it has a little bit of a slope and we have hills on both sides. They're small, they're sloped, they're about 30 foot, but A, it contains noise, and B, it contains the projectiles.
Those trees, in one picture, it has trees in the background, those, I don't reckon you're worried about the trees being hit by that large caliber.
No, I'm not concerned about the trees. But it's nice because it contains the soil and it contains the grass, and that also helps with sound emission and helps with containing projectiles.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone here to speak for this application? Anyone to speak against? Having none, y'all have any more discussion?
I think it's a good idea to have someone who can train. There's a lot of people have, caliber, that caliber. Well, especially a 45, well, 38 too, as far as them go. Most of the police, don't they have 38s? 9 millimeters. Whose district is that?
I think it's,
2, ain't it?
It's in two.
I think it's yours again.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve this application for the following reasons. The county has approved these types of applications in the past. The owner will be responsible for all safety activities during classes. Classes will have no more than 6 students at one time. Owner will be responsible for any lead contamination and disposal properly within the state and federal guidelines. Weapons will be between 38 and 45 caliber. Classes will be held Monday through Saturday from 8 to 5.
Motion made, here a second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next, the zoning officer received an application by Kevin Graham for a special exemption permit to allow for a boat storage and boat detailing business. This property is identified County Tax Map 204000-A-001, Zone Agricultural, and is located on the south side of Highway 903, approximately 1/4 mile east of its intersection with Black Ridge Road, Highway 626, Election District 3. Is the applicant here to?
Good evening, I'm Rick Cutler, I work with the Point Realty Group. I'm here representing Mr. Graham. He owns Poplar Creek Marina. And this particular property is adjacent to the old Tanglewood Land Company, Warren Matthews' old office, Carter Construction, and Dr. Bailey's office. It's zoned ag. It currently has a special exception permit that Charles Rudd obtained in order to run his 2 businesses out of there. We're requesting another special exception permit. It'll be a low volume operation, storage of extra trailers, boats, that sort of thing, occasional detailing, low traffic in and out. Like I said, it's zoned ag. It has a special exception. We're just asking for another special exception permit.
When you say storage, are they gonna have a cover? Are these gonna be under cover, or they just a place to park it in?
Just park.
Just to park it like that?
In our agreement with Mr. Rudd, of course, has passed away. Wayne Painter's wife and son have inherited it. In our agreement with them, there are several vehicles there that are not titled. They will be removed. There's an old metal building that'll be removed. There's an old storage trailer, that'll be removed. So in the process of our arrangements with the heirs, the property will be cleaned up considerably from where it is now.
Will there be a structure, put up?
There's a house, Mr.
No,
Rudd
I
lived,
mean to do the detailing.
well, there's already, for lack of any other term, there's already a 3-storage or a 3-unit boo shed there now. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a 3-car garage?
It's like a carport that
Carport.
Mr. Rudd kept his 3 cars in.
We don't have pictures on that.
But he ran an auctioneering business there and built a building behind the house that later became a wedding photograph, wedding floral arrangement classes, that type thing. But all of that property on that end and behind there is still zoned ag. The 4 buildings up the road, I guess, have been converted commercial now.
What type of screening from the public's view are you gonna put up?
None at the present. I think eventually his plan is to put up.
Item 5, if this is approved, it's in any area seen by the public will be screened.
Now, what item 5 is that?
If it's approved, one of the items in the 5 things they have for approval, that it would have to be screened.
His intention is to fence it, yes.
Isn't there a boat storage, facility on that road now,
There's one
just
up-
down below it?
There's one up further up 903, and there's one up Black Ridge Road too. And they've got chain link fence. Any other questions?
Anybody else have anything? We're good, I think. Thank you. Is anyone here to speak for this application? Anyone here to speak against the application?
Hello, my name is Alicia Clary, and I live at 184 Wagon Drive. I live directly behind this piece of property. When I built my forever home there, I built it in Joyceville subdivision, and I knew that the land behind me was agricultural, and I knew there was a residence on it, and that's why I built it there. The very first concern that I have against this is light pollution. Papa Point boat storage, less than a mile from me, I think the one you might be referring to. When you go by there at night, the lights are so bright, you don't just light up the boats, you light up the whole community around it, sorry. And, you know, I like to see the stars at night. That's why I built my house where I built it. The noise pollution also worries me. They say not many people are going to be coming and going, but I am sure people will be bringing their boats in to store them at night after they're finished with them. Also, you're going to have pressure washers, you're going to have vacuums, you're going to have runoff from the chemicals they use maybe possibly to clean these boats. And that runoff, obviously the slope of the land goes down towards us and the property beside me. And I have a garden in my backyard. Where this property is located on 903, it is 55 miles per hour. I did take care of Mr. Charles Rudd until his death as a friend, and I entered and exited that property frequently. He used to make me turn around in his yard to go out going forward because he was afraid I was going to get hit if I backed out. I don't see how it's going to be very safe for people pulling boats with in tow in and out when there's a curve at each end of the property. There's also nothing between my property and his property, but a little white fence. And I will see everything. Everybody there is going to see me, and I will have no privacy. And I guess that's about it. I ask that you deny this because I would like to be able to see my stars at night. I like to be able to have my quiet, and I like to be able to have my privacy in my garden, and I like to be able to sit on my back patio and not see all those lights and not see all of the boats, and probably weeds and other things that may grow up because this might not be maintained. So I appreciate your time.
Does anyone else speak against this application?
Do you want me to go first? Do you want me to read? Okay. This is my father, Michael Ballinger. He has ataxia, so it's very hard for him to speak. I'm his daughter, Victoria. He lives 9965 Highway 903 across from where they want to build this. My parents, both parents live there. My mother, who has had brain surgery. So they both have their some compromising in their health, and they moved from Maryland down here to Lake Gaston to retire and enjoy, and to have this built across the street from them with the light pollution and the noise is very concerning, as well as the traffic that has already been mentioned. I want to say that upon coming to my parents' house one day, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was rear-ended right there. So I know that it is, as it is, not super safe. I can't even imagine having another business, right? The other businesses that were mentioned are further up the road. So this area is absolutely, in my mind, residential. And if I can just look here. Just concerned about their peace and serenity. They sit out on the front porch. It's one of the things that they love to do. And what they're going to be looking at is boats being detailed, boats being pulled in and out, bright lights, fence. They don't want to look at all of that.
Like a prison.
Okay. You want to speak a little bit, Dan?
Yeah, look like a prison. And I'm concerned about the light and the noise, and there's 4 boat yards within a half a mile of us.
Kid Brothers.
Kid
Poplar
Poplar,
Point, two
Shady
Poplar
Shack,
Point, Shady
Shady Shack,
Holly Grove.
and Holly Grove.
And then in Littleton, 20 minutes away, you've got more boat storage. There's plenty of land around that is not residential to do something like that.
They're in a very residential area.
Mm-hmm.
Got Joyceville. I wouldn't have bought there if I wasn't residential.
You want to say anything else?
I'm done.
You need to.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes he navigates better without it.
I believe that. I believe that.
Mr. Chairman, County Board of Supervisors, Mecklenburg, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Brian Dent. I live currently at 212 Wagon Drive in Joyceville, which is on the south side of said proposed piece of property that wants to be zoned commercial. My property joins directly behind said property that they want to put this boat detailing storage. If anybody knows the other boat detailing, the boat storage place that's up just around the corner, it looks like a stadium when you come through there. It started off nice and now they've junked it up, what I call junk up, and just putting stuff there out of the way from, I guess, where their other business is at. The said property that this wants to be on is a beautiful, already existing home that now they're gonna come in and do whatever they're gonna do to it. Yes, there is an old trailer on it that could be taken away, yes. But I think if it's allowed to let this business put a boat detailing place and boat storage there, it's gonna become an eyesore. And I say that because has the potential and potentials to decrease the value of everybody's property that's around it. If for some reason that I would have to sell my home, which I just built in September of 2022, I don't know if I could recoup the money that I placed in this, and the love and the hard work that my family vowed to live right there until the day we die. I'm adamantly opposed to allowing the building of this or placing anything there. Chairman, you said they had to have a screen fence. Okay, is there gonna be a screen fence? Yes, the other boat detailing place has a chain link fence. You can see everything in there. It's got stadium lights, lights up the road, they're almost blinding when you come around both corners. Runoff. Boat detailing. Virginia Department of Environmental Quality, has that been thought about? The sloping of the land, running into the back of my yard, which is a downslope, running to the east side of that property, which is a downslope. What's it gonna look like? Quite frankly, would Mr. Graham, if he lived where I live, would he want a business placed there? I could probably positively say no. He would be standing right here where I'm at, opposed to that business being built right behind his home. With that being said, I'm adamantly opposed to granting of that particular said property to commercial. Please leave it agricultural or residential. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, good evening. My name is Dora Smith. My husband and I live at 118 Herman Road, right down the road, but my husband and I own the property just east of this tract, the last lot in Joyceville. I do appreciate you guys listening to our concerns tonight and hearing our petitions. We plan to build a house on the property adjacent to Mr. Charlie Rudd's previous property. We already, in the last 4 to 6 weeks, applied with DOT and received the driveway permit. So we're ready to make progress. Then we got the letter in the mail about the proposal to change that property. So it's going to affect our decisions going forward. But I wanted to let you know a couple of our concerns. We knew Mr. Charlie Rudd. Of course, we knew Pete Rudd. We bought our property from Pete. But he was a good man. He took care of the property well. I don't know that it's going to look like that going forward if the rezoning occurs. I remember going by there. He's stuck in the ditch. I'd stop and try to help him push his mower out of the ditch, and my husband actually came along the road behind me, and he stopped too. So, we knew Mr. Charlie Rudd, and he was a good guy. He was a good neighbor. So we've lived in the area for over 20 years. We knew Mr. Rudd, and he taught auctioneer classes. So we oppose the change to the property rezoning, and the reasons are for this. As it's going to be a repeat of some things that have already been stated. But as the others mentioned, there's the existing boat storage facility already just down the road, just past Morristown on Highway 903. At that facility, there are numerous bright lights that are on all night long. We think those would be a nuisance and invade our privacy and the privacy of the adjacent neighbors, because it lights up the whole world when you go by there. We moved out in the country. We, like the other folks, we came out here to Lake Gaston to retire, slow down life, and enjoy country living. So the second reason we oppose, we are concerned about the water runoff. As the gentleman just mentioned, he's behind the property. We're down east. The lot slopes off all the way around that property. So we're concerned about what's going to happen, what are they going to do there, what it's going to get in our water. Of course, we do have community water, but what's it going to do to our property directly? How will it impact that? The third concern, already mentioned too, is the existing boat storage. If that's an indication of what we can expect, it's clearly an eyesore, if any of you guys have been by there. There's covered storage and there's open storage. The open storage area is horrible, in my opinion. It looks like it's a lot of junk. It's not organized, and it's out visible where you can see everything.
Okay, ma'am,
So-
your time's up.
So,
Your time's up. But
can I
thank
say
you.
one more thing?
Ma'am, one thing you said in your, thank you for coming up,
Yes, sir.
that it's gonna be rezoned. It's not being rezoned. They're asking, the request is for a special exception permit, not be roofing.
But it still will affect us with what they
But I
do
mean,
there.
we understand what you,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I just, you're the second person who said that.
yeah.
It's not being rezoned. They're asking for a special exception permit. Okay?
Thank
you.
If anyone else speak against this application?
Rick, did you have something else you wanted
I
to?
just want to clarify. Boat storage will only be for his boats, his
For the business?
trailers, his boats. It's not going to be open to the public. It's not going to be lit.
Poplar Creek Marina's boats.
Well, how many boats, Rick, how many boats does he have?
Well, it's going to vary at different times of the year because when you get his inventory in,
So he would be storing for other people.
no. He's only going to be storing his own boats.
For his business?
Can I ask a question? Is it boats that Poplar Point own? Right, so it's their new, it's a boat runoff? So it's overflow, so it's just gonna be.
Especially for their business, that they sell boats, so their inventory.
Oh.
They sell boats.
So in other words, if he don't have lots.
They don't have place to
at
put
the
them, so they
business.
stick them up there. Okay.
That does clarify a little bit of what they're trying to do. Now, it's not a business of storing boats.
Yeah.
And
Well, that takes it a little different. What, how many people do you have? Three, 4?
Y'all can add that condition.
4 and a bunch of letters.
just gotta be inventory of the boat dealer. property.
But still it'd be coming and going. There's one of them will talk about the traffic, first of all, it talked about traffic goes so fast up there. What about VDOT?
Need a commercial entrance.
Yeah, it's gotta have a commercial entrance there.
But it won't be boats coming in there at night when they get off the lake. I mean, these
Right.
boats will be brought in there stored, so there shouldn't be a lot of coming
For
in,
sale.
going out.
For sale.
Yeah.
I guess, Rick, is he planning on using the whole parcel for storage or, it says it has to be screen fenced from view, so I mean, is he gonna do a parcel of it, just taking out a section and fencing or? I mean, that's kind of the,
Can I ask a question, please? Is the boat detailing part, that is business to me, that you're
Oh,
doing
it's
business when you're detailing someone's boat. And there's still gonna be the issue for one-off and things, he's saying it's not a business, it's just overflow, but I just wanna make sure you don't overlook it. Detailing is a business in my mind, I'm sorry, but I just.
This would be a branch of his business.
this is,
Be an extension of his business.
What is the one that's already there? Is that rezoned, or is that a special exception permit?
That's on his business.
That's what?
It's on his business B1.
It's zoned.
Is that one adjacent to this one?
It's right down the road. It's just
Yeah,
one.
a couple of 3 miles down the road.
So you could really say it's an extension of his business.
So will he be selling from this lot?
No, this is for Oval.
Let me also clarify.
Well, come back up here and let's get some of these questions answered where we can.
The Poplar Point boat storage up the road is not part of his business. He bought the marina. Bobby Thompson, that owned the marina previously, still owned, of course, Bobby's passed away, but his widow still owns the storage up the road. It's the same name, but it's not the same people. Follow me?
Like, so,
No.
are the boats at Poplar Point Marina, are they Graham's boats? On that lot out there behind the marina, are they his boats? They Graham's boats?
The marina itself or the storage facility?
The marina itself, you don't mind.
The marina.
The marina itself, those are either customers' boats or his boats he's got for repair or his boats he's got for sale.
Okay.
Boats and trailers that would be stored on this particular piece of property are just like extra inventory of trailers, extra boats before they're brought in, or boats that are sold and have to be serviced and then delivered. January and February, you're gonna get overloaded with boats until March and April when they start delivering boats. And I think in the big scheme of things, he's outgrowing where the marina is. And this is for future growth. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or 6 months from now, but it's for future growth.
And the boat detailing, is that gonna be open to the public?
No.
People to bring boats to
No.
get them detailed?
They have work.
These will
Or
be
is
people that maybe bring their boats up to his place. And I don't know for sure that he's gonna do the detailing up there. He's more interested in just storing his extra inventory of trailers, boats, that sort of stuff.
So no repair on the boats will be done up there?
No. Because all the repairs done there at the marina where they can water test them.
Is he aware that it's gotta be screened from public's view? He is.
I mean, he's gonna fence it for security purposes.
Screened from public view?
Does he know about this
Fencing is
condition
not
here
gonna
about
do it.
screen from the public view?
Fencing is not gonna work.
No.
He can do landscaping and vegetation to screen it.
To what?
He can do vegetation to screen it.
Oh, yeah.
Like we do the
Good.
solar farms.
It'll be like some of the other people we've had that, on the solar farm. They're supposed to do it, and they put out a shrub that's 2 feet high, and which would probably take 30 years to get so it'll screen anything. So there you run into another problem.
I've got a little question, does the screening cover the lights that are gonna shine in
There-
Aaron's house?
There aren't gonna be lights.
No security lights, so he's gonna put all those boats over there with no lights. Wow.
What do you think, David? You got-
Can you put in this thing with conditions, there's no lights put up and
I don't
no
blame
washing
you.
and detailing there? Would that work?
The biggest thing is storage.
Right.
Is the pretty little house gonna stay?
Is what?
The pretty little house gonna stay?
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna
In
stay,
fact,
the green grass?
he's gonna remodel it.
Why is it putting that commercial in the residential area?
Wow.
Yeah.
There is residential.
No, no.
The plan is to remodel the house that's there, Mr. Rudd's house. And the reason we didn't, because when I first talked to Robert, we were talking about going commercial. But in the county's commercial zoning, it does not allow for residential use in a commercial zone. And that's why we stuck with the conditional use permit, because it was already one in place. Any other questions?
Sound good? Thank you.
That's in,
Landon.
it's in Landon's district.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve this application, that because of the county has approved these types of applications in the past, it will not detrimental to public welfare, it will not affect adversely the health and safety of persons on the proposed use. The entrance will be required to meet VDOT requirements for commercial entrance. Any area that may be seen by the public will be screened from the public view. With conditions, there'll be no lights and no washing in detail at this location.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded with all the conditions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No,
Mr. Ramey, no.
I vote no.
Motion carries. All right. All right, Mecklenburg County Zoning Office received an application request by Cellco Partnership Verizon Wireless for comprehensive plan review by the Planning Commission pursuant to Virginia Code 15-22232 is proposed 199-foot communication tower located in Mecklenburg County Tax Map 0670000A-005, probably located east side Highway 49, approximately 1,200 feet south of its intersection of 695 Hanford Road. Is the applicant here to speak?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. I'm Lori Schweller, attorney with Williams Mullen, representing Verizon Wireless. With me is Larry Bickings with Sites Unlimited, who is the project manager for this site. And we have a presentation to show you in support of our request that you find that these two telecommunications towers are in substantial accord with the Mecklenburg Comprehensive Plan.
I skipped, I'm sorry, I just realized that. Can you hold on for 1 minute? I got one more that I need to take care of. I'm sorry, I
Yes,
just
sir, of
overlooked you.
course.
Let's go back. Application by. Right on my.
You already had the public hearing, just need to make.
I got you. I was saying, because that's why I was going on this one here. Yeah. Stephen and Debbie Rhodes.
Right. We've already hit
For
the
the
public
du-
hearing.
This was the one we deferred last month. It was one we deferred last month, about the duplex.
This is you.
I don't remember, we don't have any information.
Should be in
And why was it
Mr.
deferred,
Watson.
do you recall?
Because she was in the process of selling the property and transferring it, right?
Mhm.
She sold it.
Picture of the
When
two
the
little
sister
buildings.
had it.
The two little tiny houses.
The little tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
So in looking at, I've got, is it time for discussion, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Okay, got a question. They had applied for it being proposed as a duplex, and a duplex, from my understanding, has always been one building with one wall separating the two. So this would not be a duplex. Based on that, I don't know if we need to,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Two little buildings side by side.
two dwellings.
Right.
I mean, you can just.
How do you,
You can rezone it as residential or one and not specify as duplex, because there's several things on a residential or one. But taking it at R two to R one, it won't allow any manufactured homes. You wouldn't be able to put a single wide, double wide on it. And then the amount of, residences that will be able to stay there is gonna depend on the septic system. If the septic system will accommodate a full bedroom, you can't put a full bedroom on. And that's all determined by the health department.
I'm still fuzzy.
R one also allows multifamily dwellings. But it'd be a little more stricter and determine what actually will go on, stay on the property, will go back on the property.
Okay.
So it's R2 now and they want to go back to R1A? And both allow multifamily, but the R1A would
Be more strict.
stricter.
You wouldn't have manufactured homes on the property.
Couldn't, okay.
It'd have to be stick built or modular.
Robert, what's your opinion on this?
Can you give an opinion?
Sorry. All right.
I can,
I should have phrased it a different way. Do you see anything regarding, what this lady brought out that would be a conflict?
No, sir. Because if you go to R1A, just like I said, it allows for multifamily, it allows for duplexes and several other things. And what's gonna be the bid on the property as a 1A is gonna be determined on your septic system. Also, it will take away your manufactured home products. It would either have to be a stick built or modular. It wouldn't be a single wide or a double wide.
What district is this in, Rob?
I think it's Mr. Watson's district.
You may not be able to get her this as easy as Robert did. I know.
Well, Robert says there's no problem with it.
The
I make a
R1A.
motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
All right, motion made. Second, any discussion?
I think we ought to read the recommendation.
Go ahead, you have it in front of you.
Okay. Mr. Watson, I move to approve the application based on the following reasons. The rezoning would allow for one duplex structure on the property. It will not be detrimental to the public welfare. It will not affect adversely the health and safety of persons in the neighborhood for the proposed use. And it will provide more rental opportunities within the county.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any more discussion?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Motion carried. Now we're moving on. The 2232, sorry about that. It was on one paper, not on the other. All right, go ahead.
That's fine. Again, my name is Lori Schweller, representing Verizon Wireless.
No signal. Oh, press something for remote to change. No signal. Change to another input. No signal. Change to another.
She said, you just blew your partner. It sure did. Now I got ready to say something. Introduce what I'm gonna do. Cut the thing on. The thing. Then we gotta go find Bud.
It's not a plug-in or something right there. It looks like Wayne goes back in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
she's gonna have that laptop over there to run that, and I don't have a laptop over here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's, for some reason, it's showing on my laptop, but it's not transferring to pull up here. And I've got everything plugged in. It's supposed to be plugged in. Everything's plugged in. It's all plugged in. Nothing's changed. Everything's plugged where it's supposed to be. It's not switching. Mm-hmm. I tried nothing there.
It's up.
See if that one will bring it up. All of it connects to this.
Check the cable connection and set it first.
I don't have a laptop either.
That's what I suggest. Just go ahead and give a presentation.
Yeah, just let us listen.
Yeah, right. I think we can make it.
Yeah, I can turn it towards you. That's not a problem.
It just won't be on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get you back on.
She can just wing it.
Yeah.
It'll be
It's
fine.
not on the- Can't get it on the screen.
That's all right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. So what we're requesting is that you find that 2 telecommunications towers proposed by Verizon Wireless are consistent with their comprehensive plan adopted October 9th, 2012, amended November 6th, 2017. And Virginia State Code 15.2, 2232 requires a finding that the general location or approximate location, character, and extent of the proposed facilities are in substantial accord with the adopted comprehensive plan or a portion thereof. The first site on your agenda is called Crescent Lake. That's an 11975 Highway 47, Chase City. That's the address. And it's located to the southwest of Highway 47. It's on tax map parcel 22A, 43, which is zoned agriculture. The proposed site would be set back over 1,800 feet from the highway, from Highway 47 in the wooded area. And it would be over 1,200 feet to the nearest off-site residence. The zoning ordinance only requires setback from the closest residence of 200% of the height of the monopole, or at least 400 feet, so we're far exceeding that with a 1,200 foot distance. The lease area is 80 by 80 feet, and within that lease area would be a 50 by 50 foot fenced compound. There would be a vegetative buffer 4 feet wide all around that compound, trees spaced 10 feet apart. Both of these sites have a similar schematic elevation, which is a 194 foot monopole, just a single pole, with a lightning rod on top. So it's 199 total height, which means there's no lighting whatsoever on the facility. And there would be space below the Verizon Wireless antennas for an additional 4 wireless providers.
Is it true if it's over 200, you'd have to have a light on it?
Yes, sir, 200 or higher, or if there's an airport within 5 miles or
Right.
some other.
Thanks.
All the cabling would be routed on the interior of the monopole. So talking about the comprehensive plan consistency, under sections of your comprehensive plan entitled Quality of Life and Public Safety, wireless communications are essential for emergency calls for residents, for farmers in the field, for travelers. Wireless provides internet access in rural areas where there may not be any other options. It enables telework from home, and it enables remote learning. It's used for all types of healthcare applications and agricultural applications. Under your infrastructure section of the comprehensive plan, the 2035 policies and action strategies for public infrastructure, the county sets out strategies to provide utilities critical to facilitating desired economic and community development. And strategy 1.2 says to expand telecommunications infrastructure and capacity in the county for the benefit of citizens, educational facilities, and businesses. You may have various projects for fiber, and underground fiber may eventually provide internet service in certain areas of the county. The cell towers are still needed to provide voice and data services and for internet service to those traveling from home using smartphones. This area of Mecklenburg County is poorly served by wireless communications. It does need the new service that this facility would bring. In your land use and development section of the comprehensive plan, I'll just point out that the goals of the telecommunications ordinance are to encourage the location of towers in non-residential areas and to minimize the number of towers by co-locating on existing towers. Wherever possible, Verizon Wireless always prefers to co-locate on existing towers, not only because it complies with local government's ordinances, but it's a lot cheaper if you can just put antennas on an existing tower. However, there are no existing towers in the area this facility is intended to serve. We checked the registration of towers within 5 kilometers. There are none within the search ring for this facility. The closest one, which is an American Tower, is almost 3 miles away to the west. And a tower of this height tends to provide service within a 3-mile radius, 2 to 5 miles, depending on the topography. So that's too far away to provide service in this area. There's also a tall Central Virginia Educational Telecommunications Corporation tower, but again, that one's almost 3 miles away, so far outside the search ring. And finally, economic development and wireless. Wireless does support tourism. It supports small businesses in rural areas. It attracts educated young people who may wish to work from home or in smaller local businesses, and again, enables distance learning. That's our presentation for the first application. I can move forward with the next one if you like. It's quite
We need to do
simple.
one at a time. We'll just do one at a time. Thank you. Yeah, any questions? Is anyone here to speak for this application? Anyone here to speak against?
Good afternoon. My name is Howard Long, and I'm in favor of the tower, and I was just more less curious of, where it would be located, and that's about it. I think I've covered.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve this application. This application is in compliance with the Mecklenburg County Comprehensive Plan, will not be detrimental to the public welfare, will not affect adversely the health or safety of persons or business in the neighborhood of this proposed use. The new tower location will provide better cell service and internet connection to the area.
I'll second.
Mr. Ream. All right, motion made and second to approve 2232 review. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, so that was 2104. All right. The next item is zoning officer to receive applicant by Cellco Partnership Verizon Wireless for comprehensive plan review pursuant to code 15.22232 for a proposed 199-foot communication tower located tax map number 670008005, located on the east side of Highway 49, 1,200 feet from the intersection of 695 Hanford Road. Okay.
Thank you. Commissioners, this tower would be located at 240 Horseshoe Road, Skipwood. This location is property owned by Robert Lee Jackson Jr., 169.25 acre parcel. The site here, again, would be set back far from both Highway 49 and from Hanford Road, State Route 695. Closest distant setback from 49 would be well over 600 feet. It's 720 feet to the nearest residence, and again, the ordinance requires 200% of the height no less than 400 feet, so it well exceeds that setback. We're proposing a 100-foot radius tree preservation buffer around this site. And if trees are removed, then we would do a vegetative planting as proposed with the other site. This is a wooded area, so we thought that existing trees would be a better screening. This one is a 100 by 100 foot lease area, and again, a 50 by 50 foot fenced compound within that square lease area. The proposal for the tower is exactly the same, 199 foot total height, road lighting, monopole design, galvanized steel, and it would have room for an additional 4 providers below the Verizon Wireless antenna array. My arguments for consistency with your comprehensive plan are the same for this tower as for the previous tower. I'll emphasize the infrastructure component of your comprehensive plan, that you have a strategy to expand telecommunications infrastructure and capacity in the county for the benefit of citizens, educational facilities, and businesses. And though you may have underground fiber in certain areas, you still need cell for voice and data service and to provide internet service for those who are traveling. Again, regarding land use, the county's goal is to limit the number of telecommunications towers by encouraging co-location. In this case, there are no towers within 5 miles of the proposed. again, we argue that this would support economic development through supporting tourism, small business, allowing telework, and distance learning. I'm happy to take any questions.
It's well needed in that area.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Any
Mr.
questions?
Mr. Chairman, I've got more questions.
I need to see if anybody's speaking for or against.
Okay.
Is anybody here to speak for this application? Is anybody here to speak against it?
All right, Mr. Chairman, recommend approval of this application. The applicant is in compliance with the Mecklenburg County Comprehensive Plan. Will not be detrimental to the public welfare, will not affect adversely the health or safety of persons or business in the neighborhood, or the proposed use of the new tower location will provide better service and internet connection to the area.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, that should be in the public hearing. Robert, whenever you're ready. Approve the minutes, yeah.
Get the minutes done.
Yep.
Minutes.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the March 30th, 2023 minutes. They have been reviewed and redone, and I make a motion we approve.
I don't know whether it needs to be amended or not, but present up here doesn't have my name and I was here.
We can add it.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Thank you.
Randy, we've told at the last budget meeting that, we getting ready to get a $5 increase there, so we wanna make sure your name's on there. I told them, from us going from $75 to $80, we'll put us all over the hump.
Oh, okay.
Everybody approve that.
We need a second.
I'll second.
Who seconded?
Mr. Brown. All those in favor of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Now we got Rob.
All right.
Oh, Lord, y'all don't want me now. We do the easy thing first.
Okay.
If you all want to change the meeting to 7 o'clock, there's no issues with that. Only thing you have to do is make a motion and approve it, and we can start it with the month of January. Starting at 7 instead of 7:30.
I move we start the meetings at 7 o'clock from now on, starting the June meeting.
Second.
Whatever, y'all.
Oh, you have a motion on the floor and a second?
7 PM starting in June.
Everybody approved the meeting starting June 7 o'clock. Say aye.
Now, here comes the big top.
We did vote.
These are passing around.
All right, here comes the good news.
Solar. Okay. I've sat down and I've done the numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And I think if you all want to kind of put a restraint on the total solar in Mecklenburg, I think a better option would be the total acreage that is fenced in versus what's on the panel. Because if you get to looking at what's on the panel, you're not counting the roadways and the space in between them. You're just stating just on the panels. So with the numbers that I got, what is on the panels, and I know we had discussed like 2,300 acres on the panels. Right now, we got 966.35 acres on the panels. So that's a whole lot of solar. Okay. Fenced in as of today, with the ones that we have approved and the ones that are pending, if those go through, it'll be a total of 2,307 acres, well, 7.77 acres. So that's kind of what we are looking at. So if you go, if the other two are not approved, then the total acreage is 1927.75. And then the fenced in is 1315, and it's 452 pounds. But with the two that is pending, I think we would be better off at looking at the total fenced in area versus what's on the panels. I know one of the counties not too far west of here put a halt to theirs last month at their board meeting. I got sent the YouTube attachment, and they had a large group of people there. They had one speaker, and after the meeting was over with, basically when I think what they said is what approved what they have on the books. Once that is done, there is no more solar in Pennsylvania County. And I will tell you, my phone is ringing off the hook. And we do have a meeting next month. They submitted an application. I got 2. That's small, but I got 2.
Can we defer those until we get this straight?
That's entirely up to y'all.
But we could.
That's an option.
I don't see why you can't. And I've sent those to Russell, and told him I need a reply back by May 4th. So we can.
Why would you defer it then?
Well,
Till we get the other.
till we
two
get
in?
this cap straight.
Yeah,
You know.
because actually, if you decide to go with the total acreage that's fenced in, which will be a total, if these other 2 approve, will be 2,307.77 acres. They will not come. That'll be it. There'll be no more. But if you go with a different number, then what's here, then you got room for a couple more to come in.
Well, I think we need to get this straight first, because if we start getting more in, this acre's gonna just continuously change.
Right.
So we need to.
So
I'm
right
saying-
now, what we got approved and what we got pending is fenced in of 2307.77.
So,
And it's still, even with Finneywood and Seven Bridges, they still got to file the SCP. And there's no guarantee, you know. The only thing that's been approved is the comp plan review. They still got to go through the special exception permit part of it. But I think it's only fair that we would include this acreage to include them, that afford them the opportunity to apply.
I agree.
And I discussed this, yesterday. I discussed this with Wayne and Russell yesterday, and Russell said that they didn't know which way we want to go in. Wayne was kind of in favor of putting fenced in. Because also, you have to remember, we have a limit of 500 acres that's fenced.
But we were talking about last month though, at 2,300 acres of, we thought were paneled, but they are not paneled.
But, I mean, no, that was the fenced in part of it. And that's why I kind of stressed, are you talking about fenced in, or you talking panels? Panels was mentioned.
Kind of left a hole there if we see a panel.
But
Don't you think we ought to make a decision to either fenced in or what?
Well, I think we ought.
your fenced in is going to be a better option.
I agree.
Because we have a acreage, a 500 acres of what's fenced in.
And why is Grasshopper more than that?
That was because we didn't have all of this when they came in.
Okay.
These 3 at the top all came in pretty much at the same time. We didn't have anything.
Didn't have.
And that's when we actually all 3 of them was kind of put on hold until we got it all worked out with a land use attorney. And, I mean, I don't know how many hearings we had on resubmittals and changes in this. And I think some of the other counties that I've heard are looking at going back and revamping the FSO ordinance on how much they get.
What could we do, 2,350?
2350, you can do 2307.77.
Do all those numbers out.
Or you could do 2310, 2320.
I think it ought to be decided. Go on, put 2350 and let that be it.
Fenced in,
Fenced in.
Fenced in 23.
let's be clear.
Somebody just make a motion
2350.
so I can do that in a whole couple of years.
make the motion?
Well, Robert, just one question.
Mhm.
If we would say 2350, say the other two come through, one of them or two of them, we got denied. Can we go back and redo this? Because if we leave that hole open, we're not gonna stop them. They're gonna keep rolling in until they fill that hole. Could we go back in 6 months or whatever, and if something after that, these other two come through, if they were to get denied, you see what I'm saying? We're leaving that hole of what?
Right, we're going back to.
Almost 1,000.
Almost 1,000, that
Right.
somebody could come in, and I don't think that would change a whole lot for a while until it's filled up.
So you got 992 acres.
I mean, I would say we have to do something now, but I mean, I'm just talking about the future.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go back and up it or down it, I don't see where it would be an issue. That's something I can ask Russell.
At a later date.
Yeah.
I think we ought to make a decision one way or the other, sitting here talking about it and not doing anything.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, I can tell you the other two that are coming in are 35 acres apiece, but one of them is taking out 100 and some acres of land. And the other one is taking out almost 100.
What was 115.21 and the other one?
169, wasn't it?
No, the first one that's 45 acres is 115.21 acres total. And the second one is 35 acres, and I believe that one's 235 point something acres. For that one, but it would be 45 acres for
solar.
For solar, and then 35 acres out of that for solar.
So last meeting, we agreed that it was, and we approved it, that we would have it under panels. So basically what we're doing is restructuring it to be fenced in, and we need to limit it at 23, 25 or something like that. So I make that motion. I make a motion that we limit the solar to be fenced in at 23, 25 acres. 2,325 acres.
And to hold a public hearing on it.
And to hold a public hearing on it, yes.
Does that need a second?
Yes.
I'll second.
All right, motion made and seconded to restrict to 2335 acres.
25.
Is that 25?
25, so 2325, sorry.
Fenced in.
Fenced in. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
That'll be next month's public hearing.
Yes, if I can get Russell to respond to me in enough time to get the newspaper, yes, sir.
Fair enough.
He will get this first thing in the morning. I think that's it.
Your report.
We got your report and
Oh.
copy of that in there.
Same stuff.
Yeah, same stuff.
I don't even know. Building report and then the zoning permit reports. We were down a little bit on the permits, but the E&S and stuff is still rolling.
How's your new guy working it?
Doing great. He's finding all the kind of violations for him. I got a stake about this.
He seems to enjoy it. I talked to
Yeah.
him.
He's doing a good job.
Nice guy.
Beyond Ridge Road going east on 58, is that all that clear that beyond Ridge Road, that's all Microsoft?
They're planning to have that introduction by 2024.
So how many acres now in the bordering area, round border?
I would have to sit into
It was pushing 1,000 at one time.
Well, I would probably say I'd be scared to say without sitting in and pulling
Right,
it up
I
and looking
understand.
at it. I'm just guessing, I mean, they got the old prison site, they got everything in the industrial site, they got 400 or 500 acres across the road, Reeves Road, and they've got this. I need to pull out the partials and see how many acres is in it.
And Microsoft stock was up almost $20 yesterday, an additional 7 or 8 today. It went over 305 ducks, 305 a share.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.